Hello everyone and welcome to the recording for this group's project of the MuayThai app for DTS204. I'm going to be showing you the app we have created on a locally hosted site as due to the fact that we did not get access to the APIs from the client until very late last week and were unable to integrate that into our final code to test it. So we are testing a locally hosted version of the code just to show that we do meet the minimum viable product aspects of the code. So I'll just get cracking. Bear with me while I get it booted up locally. Right, and this is the landing page we have for the application that's been built. Due to the fact that the brand assets weren't provided by the client either, as we do not have any branding on the page. That's something that the client can integrate and add to the app afterwards due to the fact that it wasn't provided when asked by us from the client. And due to the fact that we're also hosting this locally, we've added a dev menu just to test this, that all the links work, due to the fact that we can't actually test it with a live backend of the Firebase code due to the fact we don't have the APIs integrated. So normally when an athlete or gym lands on this page, they would be given two options to log in or join now. So if we go into the join now aspect of the um, store, the user experience, then you click on join now, you get to a landing page to either join now as an athlete or as a gym membership. In this case, if you were to click on either one now, it's automatically going to create an account for someone because it doesn't link to a back end, hence why we've had to create a dev mode for this. But if they were to click join now as an athlete, it would take you to the joining page for an athlete where you fill in the details and then you would join and make your payment. Same thing for the gym membership, which I'll show you momentarily once I go to the dev menu to show you this. So if you were to go to the dev menu and register as a athlete, when you click join now as athlete, it will take you to this page. Obviously, this is just the mock mode enabled because we're hosting it locally. But an athlete would just put in their full names. So in this case, I'll put myself down, put down my date of birth, and no, I was not born today or yesterday. So let's just put me down as born sometime before the pandemic, let's say, because you know, go to a date of simpler times. So put myself down as born on the 1st of November 2019. You would actually have to put yourself down an email address. So let's just call it vic@vic.com and a password. Just test 1, 2, 3. In this case, when you click create account, it would take you to the Stripe payment page for the processing of the £10 registration fee. But because we aren't linked to the back end and we just go straight to account creation, we can integrate the Stripe login payment processing section in a line of code. Should we provided the API stuff quick earlier than the client did give it to us. But for this case, we are just going to assume that the next step when you click create account would go to the payment page and then back to account creation once payment has been taken. But in this case, it has been, we're going to assume that's happened and this is what's been created. And it's now actually giving you an active membership, which is valid till a year from the creation date and saying your membership is currently active. And you can also get a digital QR code if you click on this link here. It takes you to this and shows you all the details in a QR code. When this linked to a active Firebase account, then you can download the option as a PK pass file to download to your Apple or Google Wallet, so you don't have to manually log in every time, and you can just get this scanned in at events organized by the organization, and the medics can then obviously scan this and see if you've got a valid account or if you've been suspended or not. So that aspect actually meets the requirements of having a QR code that shows your current status as well, to see if you're allowed to actually participate or not. If you do the same thing for registering a gym, it's the same process, but you just have to fill in a bit more detail. So, the name of the gym. So I'm just going to call this Karate Kid Dojo. The owner is Mr. Miyagi. Sorry for the spelling error there, but yep. And contact email address is kkid at film. Actually, also just to remind you, to show that we have set error validation for this. If I was to set less than 6 characters for a password or miss out the .com or .uk of an email address, it would not let me register. So bear with me while I do this. And the address is one. Right. So you would also, if I was to try to create the account now, it wouldn't let me because it's saying invalid email address. So I need to have a full valid email address that has a .com or .uk. And if I try it now, still won't let me do it because the password's less than 6 characters. So I need to have something that's more than 6 characters. So let's just call this, to make it a bit more secure, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know not the most secure password, but it's better than nothing. At this point, if I was to create the account, it wouldn't give me the errors for the email address or the password, but it would give me errors because I've not uploaded any files. So if I was just to choose a random file, okay, choose another file. Right, okay. Saying the email address is already in use. That's just a local caching error, but it would actually let you create an account. So let's just call this. So yeah, so at this point it would actually go and send this off to the admins to be approved, and then you would get an email later to say, "Oh, your account has been created. Please pay the £30 fee to actually get the account set up and running." But it wouldn't link to Stripe straight away because the documentation has to be approved by admins from MuayThai. Hence why it's saying creating gym account, but it's trying to send the data to the back end, but there is no back end because we didn't get the APIs. So that follows the MVP for the gym membership as well, all set up. And then you'll have settings for gym settings, medic athlete view. If you click this, but again, because it's not pulling any data from the athlete's back end, because we've got no back end, it's going to show a loading page. Um, and then a membership card that can load because we've got tests account stored locally on the machine, but that would also obviously pull the data from the back end with the APIs. Um, and the same thing with selecting role register, that's to register an account for either as a gym or an athlete. It just goes to this landing page, which is the main landing page we normally have. Obviously, just missing a few UI broken elements because due to the fact that we're testing this locally. But everything else works as should do for the gym and athlete registration and creating a QR code and getting all the data collated and tested and approved from the back end for the gym's registration, which meets the MVP as requested by the client. Regarding testing it further, obviously because we don't have any back end, we couldn't download the QR codes to a mobile app to test. But we are doing this in good faith on the aspect that if the client had provided us the details earlier, we could have obviously, tested it further and made a fully fledged product to hand over. But at this stage of the product life cycles, we have met the MVP and we could hand over to the client to have them run with it. Thank you for watching the video and enjoy the rest of your day.